Have you lost someone that you love? As humans, that's one of the hardest things that we go through, and sooner or later, it's something that we all have to experience. I'm Temple. I'm an artist and a counselor, and I want to take you with me today to the Center for the Arts as we do an Art and Renewal class. So come on, let's get started. We're going to paint, do some journaling, and even learn a simple yoga routine. The first thing I'd like for you to do is to check in with your feelings. So how do you feel right now? So the next thing we're going to do is load up our palette, and we're only going to be using our primary colors, red, yellow, and blue, and then we're going to use some white. We're going to paint our sky, and we're going to start at the background and then paint to the foreground. So we're going to use mostly white, add a little bit of blue in, and you can paint your sky any way you want to. So you're going to paint down about 1/3 of the way on your canvas and just start painting your sky. We've got some beautiful skies going on right now. You can just keep adding your white and your blue. Make your sky any way you want to. And I like to add a little bit of purples or a little bit of reds in my sky, and you can make purple by mixing just a little bit of blue and a little bit of red, and then wipe your brush off, get most of the color off, and then just add a little bit into your sky. If you want to add more, you can. Now that you've learned how to make that pretty purple color, you can go ahead and start working on some of your mountains. The far away mountains are a little bit lighter in color, and as you get closer to the foreground, your mountains will get a little bit darker. Mountains usually have one side that's more shaded and one side that's a little bit lighter in color. Mountains are all different shapes and sizes. It's important to study mountains when you're outside and just look at the beauty of them and see how they're all so different. Notice the shapes, the shadows, and the highlights on the mountains. Mountains are really special to me, and in a little while I'll share with you some of the symbolism of mountains for me. So just keep working. Add another layer of closer mountains, and remember to make it just a little bit darker. That is so pretty. Everybody's painting is going to be different. Yours won't be like mine. Mine won't be like anyone else's. There's some of those highlights you can see. This class had a really great time doing their mountains, and they turned out beautifully. Painting with a group is a lot of fun, and just painting yourself at home, just you alone, is fun as well.
Mix it somewhere to where you see, always like on your palette, you can put your color up there to see what you're actually putting on your painting.
Just keep working on those mountains. It's so neat to watch everybody start with the same instructions and come out with something that's so unique. We all have our own styles, and it's important to find your own voice in your painting, and it'll come through. You don't ever want to try to paint like anybody else. You just want to be your own artist.
That's it.
It's important from time to time to stand back and look at your painting and see how it looks from a distance. That's how you really can tell what needs to be done, what needs to make it look more real. And I'm using one brush in this whole painting, or most of this painting. You can use one brush or you can use several, and you can experiment. I love to focus on mountains. I dearly love them. They're always beautiful where we live in any season. And this is part of how I feel about our mountains. And this is something I wrote in our journal. Resilience, the heart of the mountains. The ascent. The journey up is challenging and rocky. It requires strength and determination. There's a level of excitement, anticipation, and wonder. The adventure is wonderful and a beautiful pathway to hold in your heart always. It gives you strength and builds your confidence. The summit. The mountaintop is beautiful, awe-inspiring, and nourishment for the soul. There's a feeling of victory, accomplishment, and renewed strength. The beauty and sense of awe are yours to own forever in your memory. The descent. The journey down is difficult, rocky, and holds the danger of falling. It requires strength, stability, and the use of knowledge and wisdom gained along the pathways traveled in the past. The journey down has much beauty to behold, and it's a time to take pleasure in the moments and enjoy the beauty. This pathway is a sacred place to hold in your heart forever. The vale. The bottom of the mountain, the foundation and home, is a place to relish in the growth you have made, the beauty you have seen, the strength that has grown inside you, the renewed zest for life and optimism and level of confidence that you've attained. It's a place of renewal, strength, faith, hope, and joy. It's not the end of your journey, but it truly is the beginning. Mountains truly are a sacred place, and you may love the mountains as much as I do, or you may have another place that you love and hold dear to your heart. You may love the beach. So think about the place that you love and how it makes you feel to enjoy the beauty that's around us. So now we're going to do some of the mountains that are a little bit closer up, and we're going to be using green, and you wonder where that green came from. So we're going to be mixing some yellow and blue to make the mountains that are close up to us. You can add a little bit of white for some highlights, and if you want to add a little bit of red in there, it will darken the blue a little bit for some of the darker shadows. So just keep on making mountains just like the ones that you made in the background, and come to the front. Notice the little highlights I'm doing by adding just a little bit of white. Sometimes it helps to wipe your brush off every now and then on your palette just to get any extra paint off, or to get a little bit more of the white off if you don't want that much in your painting. Now we're going to do a little hill that's a little bit closer to us. And you'll use your same colors and just put a nice little hill in there. We're not using a reference picture with this painting, we're just painting from our hearts. Everybody's is different and everybody's comes from their own hearts. Sometimes it's good to use a reference picture. Everybody's paintings are looking so good, so good. Now I'm going to add a little definition at the back of the mountains. Look how beautiful. I'm using the corner of my brush, just turning it sideways and making some little trees to separate the mountains from the fields that we're going to be putting in.
I like how you got the dark in there, it's like clouds. Smoke coming up.
I love watching everybody paint and talk and laugh. So now I'm adding a little bit more yellow and the brown color that we made by mixing the blue, the yellow, and the red together. And then I'll add a little whites in there and more yellow to create some highlights that look like fields, and it makes it look like the fields are far away.
Let me hold it up and let you see it.
That's the ground.
It is.
Shirley, you did it.
Yeah. Looks better from a distance. I know that it does.
Stepping back and looking at your painting every now and then helps you to see what you need to do. So you just need to continue to do that every little while. So notice how that field starts looking like it's far away. So we'll finish up our little hill. Add a few little highlights. And we're almost done with our painting, and the next thing you're going to be doing is signing your work.
Try one of those and see how it works. Like that. Yeah, just a little. And then there we go. And it kind of blends out that harsh.
Every time I hear her on that line,
Yeah, I like it. Yeah, I'll do that.
Thank you.
That looks really good. Can I hold it up?
Wow.
Oh,
Wow. That's pretty.
I hope you've enjoyed painting mountains with us. I love to see how everyone's painting turns out so differently and so beautiful. I love this one. And that one, it just feels happy. And then we worked together as a class and worked in our journals, and we talked a little bit about people that we've loved and lost, and that's a very important thing to do. It helps a lot. And one of the things that I like to do in our group classes is talk a little bit about the story of the dragonfly. Story of the dragonfly. Once in a little pond in the muddy water under the lily pads, there lived a little water beetle in a community of water beetles. They lived a simple and comfortable life in the pond with few disturbances and interruptions. Once in a while, sadness would come to the community when one of their fellow beetles would climb the stem of a lily pad and would never be seen again. They knew when this happened that their friend was gone, that they were dead. Then one day, one little water beetle felt an irresistible urge to climb up that stem. However, he was determined that he wouldn't leave forever. He would come back and tell his friends what he had found at the top. When he reached the top and he climbed out of the water onto the surface of the lily pad, he was so tired and the sun felt so warm that he decided that he must take a nap. As he slept, his body changed, and when he woke up, he had turned into a beautiful blue-tailed dragonfly. He had broad wings and a slender body designed for flying, so fly he did. And as he soared, he saw all the beauty of a whole new world, far superior way of life than he had ever known before. Then he remembered all about his little beetle friends in the bottom of the pond and how they were thinking that now he was dead. He wanted to go back and tell them and to explain to them that he was now more alive than he had ever been before. His new life had been fulfilled rather than ended, but his new body wouldn't go down into the water. He couldn't get back to tell his friends that the good news was that his life was so wonderful. Then he understood. Their time would come when they too would know what he now knew. So he raised his wings and he flew off into his joyous new life. And when you see them out in the field flying around, every time you see one, you think about that story, and it kind of makes you think about the person that you love that's not here now. So there's a couple of really easy ways that you can draw a dragonfly. And if you want to go like on Google it, you can find hundreds of dragonfly pictures, paintings, there's hundreds. And look at all their veins and look at the way they're built and draw different dragonflies. But a really easy way, can you put girls supposed to see it? You can do like almost like a sideways X. Just do an X. So you can use any color you want to. I'm gonna move your painting back just a little bit, okay, so you don't get your elbow into there. That's so pretty. And then from the X, just make you a big long line. And then in the middle here, you can draw your body. Just a little, you can just do like a rectangle, make it easy. And then go about right above your rectangle and do you a big circle for its head. We're going to have a beautiful dragonfly and it's going to be like a choo-choo. And then go beside, on each side. Dragonflies have big old eyes on the side of their heads that they can see all around everywhere. So you do two big old eyes on the side. And you can go ahead while you're up here on their head and do their little antennas. And you can do great detail or you can do something very simple, but in on their bodies they have these little sections that just kind of like little sections that you see on the dragonfly. And then at the end of their tails, one side's a little bit longer than the other. But you can do just little wigglies or whatever you want to make the dragonfly's tail. These are really pretty to color in and make them like pastel colors. They're really good with dragonflies. And then after you get his tail, you'll go back and do his wings, and you just go right around, go right around your little line there. You go over here and go around that line, go around that line. You've already had a beautiful dragonfly. We've enjoyed painting, working in our journals, creating art, and just being together with people that care about us. Hope you've enjoyed it yourself, and one of the things that we're going to do to end up our class is a few simple yoga poses. It's a great way to help you in the healing process, body, mind, and soul. Hands in prayer position. Open. Breathe in. And slowly come back down into prayer position. And back down as you breathe out. You're going to breathe in as you go up. Breathe down, coming back down. This time I want to hear everybody breathe as it comes back down. So breathe out your mouth. In your nose and out your mouth. And this time I'm going to add a little bit to it. So and Dragonfly. Back to prayer. This is a variation of a pose called Rain. You're lifting up and the rain's coming down. But it's our Dragonfly. We're going to do one more. It's important when you breathe to breathe into your belly, way down into your belly, and then breathe out a real slow breath. Next thing I want you to do is put your hands over your heart. This is called a heart hug. A lot of times we think about other people and we try to find out how other people are feeling and care about others, but we don't think about how we feel ourselves. And it's important sometimes just to listen to our feelings, to learn what they are, and just to feel them. With the pose of no fear, this hand is going to come down straight out. Your elbow will be straight out, this hand up. And this is mostly done when you're sitting in cross-legged position on the floor, but you can do it standing as well. And you can also do it sitting if you're not able to do the stand or the sitting on the floor. So what you're going to do is you're going to pull in with this bottom hand, and you're going to push out with this hand, and you're going to push and pull at the same time. And when you do that, you're going to find a place right in the middle there that almost feels like there's a magnet. I have it now, and it takes practice to get there. But you're pulling in, you're pushing out with equal amounts of force. And this is called pose of no fear. And the reason it's called that is because it is a pose of equal amounts of giving and receiving. You're receiving, you're taking what you need, and you're giving in equal amounts. So you're taking and you're giving. And when you find that pose, you'll know it, you'll feel it. It feels just like there's a magnet there, pushing and pulling. So that's the pose of no fear. We're going to end in prayer pose and namaste. Everybody say namaste. Namaste means my soul speaks to yours. So I hope you've enjoyed our class today. We painted, we've worked in our journals, and I like to end with checking in with how you're feeling right now. And when we started our class, we checked in with how we were feeling. So I hope you made some little notes that let us know and let yourself know how you were feeling at the time. And a lot of times I like to use a feelings wheel. And the feelings wheel starts out with some very basic feelings in the center, like sad, scared, peaceful, and then it narrows them down to more distinct feelings. And sometimes it's hard to recognize how we feel, and it's hard to know how we feel inside our bodies. It's important to recognize both. So writing those down at different times of the day and just recognizing how you feel during different times of the day is very helpful, not just in the grieving process, but in all parts of your life. So I hope you enjoyed the class. I hope you ended up feeling a whole lot better than you did when you came, and that you paint more and you journal more, and all of your feelings are shared with other people, because that's very important too.